Hey, how are you? My name is Thomas, and welcome to my channel, Are We NPC?
We're coming back on the air after an interruption due to technical problems.
I've been playing Dead Island 2, also known as Dead on Arrival 2 by skeptics, since its release on April 21st. And in spite of its tumultuous development, and 10 years of studios playing hot potato, Dead Island 2 came out the gates swinging. Everything from the game's soundtrack, especially during boss fights, to its quest design and comedic narrative, Dead Island 2 delivers a stellar zombie beat-em-up without trying to take itself too seriously, like I do. With that said, Dambuster Studios did not lack on fleshing out its semi-open world and environments. As someone who just moved back to the Midwest after living in LA for 4 years, the tone and aesthetic of LA is uncanny, and I don't think Southern California is all that different from the apocalyptic, zombie-ridden shithole that we get to tromp around in while playing. Haha, just kidding LA, you guys are so cool. Like and subscribe. Dead Island 2's story starts with you picking one of several different archetype characters, all with their own perks and strengths, where you immediately get shot out of the sky, get impaled with some shiny metal, and off you go. Players are introduced to a cast of insufferable NPCs, unable to take care of themselves, and that's the entire gist of the game. I picked Danny as my starting character, a foul-mouthed European who explodes zombies with her heavy attacks and only regens health when she slays zombies in quick succession. These initial perks proved extremely useful early game, as I was able to effectively crowd control before unlocking stronger weapon mods and other useful perks unlocked through the story. Dead Island 2, in comparison to the first game, feels distinct yet reminiscent of the feeling I got back in 2011, unlike Dying Light 2 and its trivial world building and parkour system. DI2 actually delivers on its density, filling every nook and cranny with something to explore, explode, empathize, enrage, and embody. The side quest and fuse boxes encourage you to revisit locations you couldn't access earlier, which allowed me to steamroll the actual story content, knowing I'd want to give myself a reason to come back after it's all said and done to 100% the game. While some games try to do this as effectively as possible, often I am chasing down side objectives to ensure I feel stronger than the enemy. However, in DI2, this is done very organically. I'm still trying to figure out how exactly keys to locked storage containers drop, but as of my first impressions, I'm just killing every zombie I see, not because I'm looking for a specific item drop, but because it's just so damn fun. In terms of combat, I personally hate when games have durability attached to weapons. I'm pragmatic. I don't like when weapons break, but in DI2, so many weapons are thrown at you, this becomes a non-issue. I am constantly destroying weapons I don't need, and all that does is fill my resources so I can upgrade the weapons I actually enjoy using. Players are limited to melee weapons for the first few hours. However, the moment you unlock guns and ranged weapons, your entire approach to combat drastically changes and expands. Those caustic, bile-puking elites causing you trouble? Just wait, your death shall be avenged. Having a hard time clearing a zone? Well, keep dying. It doesn't matter. You don't have to come back stronger, you can just waste 20 minutes clearing a zone that you'll revisit later in the story. And honestly, that level of freedom in death is what makes DI2 so addicting. You can play as you want, and if it's not working, your stubborn ass can just keep manically trying. One thing I love about DI2 is the fact there is no fast travel, at least not that I'm aware of. The game guides you not based on backtracking, which there can be a lot of if you choose, but instead constantly finding new and interesting places to hang out. Side quests all lead to some new way to play, like kicking zombies off a roof, something I didn't consider doing myself, or lighting burn pits on fire that cause a disruptive smoke, catalyzing my claustrophobia. So many games riddle their open world with deviations of the same quest, and while that may be technically the case with Dead Island 2, in practice, everything feels well differentiated. The environments feel drastically different from one another, and then you add boss zones to the mix, and each location feels like their own theme park. This is the first RPG I felt like steamrolling through because the story and cutscenes are so well done. I didn't want the movie to end. Playing DI2 is like going to Universal Studios with a fast pass and no one is fucking there because you broke in through the side gates during closing. DI2 makes you feel like you're in control, and it's a breath of the wild. I mean breath of fresh air. Combat is kept simple yet customizable, letting you swap out perks that change the moveset that you have access to. Dashing and blocking actually serve as a combat option rather than just a utility. Curveballs, the gadgets that recharge and never run out, ensure you have methods of dispatching zombies very quickly. Guns can be imbued with elemental damage, just like melee weapons, and some zombie types can have an immunity, causing you to change up what you're using. Players also have access to special moves, like a Bruce Lee palm to the nose, or a ground pound that destabilizes zombies around you. Players later in the story also gain access to their own zombie powers in the form of rage, allowing you to claw the faces off the undead and spit acid like a freaky lizard. The star of the show is the game's flesh system, which is unlike anything I've ever seen in a zombie game. Every element, every hit, every single thing you do to a zombie is reflected in their appearance. Zombies will burn from Molotovs and flame weapons, rotting flesh from acid attacks, missing arms and legs from limb damage. It's all there and all super satisfying. How many times have you played a game where all that happens when you fight an enemy is some armor breaks, or bosses just become spongy and require more firepower? Dead Island 2 gives you immediate feedback with every swing or pull of the trigger, and I will never grow tired of this mechanic. I am so glad that Dambuster put so much hard work into this system because it has stolen the show. My one critique, however, is the game's frame rate can dip to annoying levels as you load into new zones and when zombies are spawning in mass. However, I am sure more optimization will come to PC in the coming weeks. This is the only issue with the game, as it's something I hope they can fix, because the game is beautiful, and although it hasn't ruined my overall experience, it could be much better with better performance. In general, this is not a bad PC port, but for those leaning on the fence with this game, maybe wait for a patch. I spent the base $60 to own this game. I got it on Epic and didn't waste my time looking at the DLC or deluxe editions. Usually I feel like a dunce picking up a game at full price, when there are 50 games I haven't finished in my Steam library. But I am overjoyed with how Dead Island released, and think anyone taking the time to watch this impressions video will feel the same. Dead Island 2 is available on all platforms, and I encourage you to try the game, even if later down the road, because it is so much fun and a comical delight of a game. It's nice to know that a title like this can come out the end of development hell with a cohesive and polished idea. But I'm not holding out hope for Suicide Squad. It's going to be shit. Thank you so much for watching. I'm pretty new to YouTube, so any support helps, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.